Hi folks, today is October the 1st. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. We're starting with the ES with the quarterly candlestick formation, because not only did we end a month, we ended a quarter. Take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 8? 8 quarters, only one of them down. Just a series of higher highs and higher lows. It is just exploding. So we can see that pullbacks are buy zones. We can see that these quarterly edges, this one might be important for us to take notice of at some juncture. We can see that. Yeah. And so what are we looking at? Let's get to, if we go to the monthly, we can see things look very good. Still buy the dip, even though it gets ugly. And then, of course, if we look at our daily, we can see that we're retracing a few candlesticks, but the dips clearly are the buy zone. Here's the warning signal that I see at this juncture. It's still buy the dip, but we are now under the hull. And the interesting thing about the way the hull is plotted is once you get under the hull, even if the trend is up, it tells you that there's a ceiling here that's potentially not going to be broken. Okay? Now, it could get broken. But what's more likely is that the dips are buy zones, and if you're right up at the top, you've got a short that's going to be cheap. Okay? That's from the daily. Let's go to the hourly. So what do we have? We have our opening candle from this morning. I have no idea where the bottom of it is. What is that low? 58.01. 58.01. Okay, so it's pretty wide. And then we have our 4 a.m. candle, which is also interesting. 2, 3. Ooh, look at that 3 o'clock. They must have had some news that came out before their broad market opened up. All right, and so here is the 4 a.m. candlestick. And so what do we notice? We notice that it's a little sideways this morning. Yesterday, everything down, 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 down. All of a sudden, boom, end of the month. We see this sort of thing, right? Portfolio managers get paid by how things look at the end of the month. This is end of the month window dressing. You know, who knows what they'll do next. But again, here's how it looks with the hull. Once you get under the hull, there is the expectation that the prior highs are likely to be highs in the short term until the hull change shape. Now, the hull is changing shape here as we speak. We're getting higher lows. Here's what's happening. This, folks, is an absolute mess. Absolute mess. If you're interested in trading it, I would say wait for the fade into the bottom of the edges, or, whoopsie. Wait for the fade into the bottom of the edges, or it gets to the VWAP. This kind of volume formation tells us that price action is moving back and forth, back and forth. So easily we could break value area high and end up all the way down here at value area low. All right, every article I read last night was incredibly bullish, except for the ones that were bearish. And in general, people are saying, hey, listen, October might be sloppy, but if we've had this kind of run, it's going to be up, up, up and away into the end of the year. So looking for a shaky October. I say it's still some of the same, up, down, sideways. But if we lose the value area high here, the VWAP is sitting right in the middle of this zone, along with the 618 and the 382. Okay? So let's continue on. You know what I'm saying, though, right? This is, I would be very careful just going in long because you think you're seeing everything long. Intraday formations are mixed. You're underneath a downward sloping hull, which tells you the bounces are sells. There's a fade here. The problem is there are also buyers sitting here. So it is two-way price action until it either breaks savagely like this, up or down. Okay, thank you. Oh dear. NQ. And let's see how it's faring quarterly, right? It still looks pretty good. Dips clearly buying formations, right? Last place, these last two edges way down here, tremendous amount of buying pressure. Thin volume pockets still available, so there are things to think about, but this is a buy the dip. We're very extended from the hull. We'll see how that goes. For the monthly chart, we're starting the new month. We've had 4 months of literal sideways formation. So the big thing to notice here is the following. If, per happenstance, we get a shot of it coming into 18,475, you got to wait to see if it ends up dropping. If you're looking for a long only, you got to wait to see if it ends up dropping into 17,000, and then you can move forward. Okay? Let's take a look at the daily. Very sideways, but still by the dip. Here's the thing, we're under the hull. Under the hull means near-term highs are highs until they're broken. So you can do two things. You can buy the dip, which is in the direction of trend. Very nice plan. Or you can sell the highs, and immediately if it retraces, you can buy 2x of whatever you've got and turn it into a long, because it is going to break into the next rotation. All right, I don't love doing that, but that's a cheap short. If it spikes up and you're under the hole and that hole continues to flatten, it will tell you that there is a range there you can short into frontline support, at which point you can turn around and go long. Some of us don't like going both directions up and down like that, but to each his own. All right, let me take a look at the hourly here. Let's draw our candle formations. Critical that we remove all the fibs. Yeah. Critical that we think about things in general every day. We're going to do the same thing. We are going to, what is going on? We are going to set our value area fibs. We're going to highlight our, remember for the NQ, we do 3 of them, right? We do the opening candle formation, we do the midnight candle formation. I don't know why this thing is not responding. Whoopsie. Let's do this. All right. And let's do our midnight candle formation. Where's midnight? 22, 23. There we go. All right, and then we do our 4 a.m. candle formation. And you can see that they are very intent on being in tandem. Look at that. What do we expect? Sideways action, a lot of digestion after the month. Could we come all the way back down here? Yes. What is going to tell us there is a problem with upside pressure? We're going to break the point of control, which is this pink line, and we're not going to recover it. So here's a break, very next candle, we recover it. Here's a break, very next candle, we recover it. So as it sits, if there's a break, the first action will be a buy. It'll be a buy. If it doesn't get up into a new high, that means we stop at 20,300. It's going to send us right back down, okay? I am still seeing a two-way tape, but it's very hard to think about price action in a two-way tape after what we saw yesterday afternoon, right? People are going to start thinking, oh my goodness, I got to go long, or I'm going to miss out. Just look at the price levels and wait. Be patient. Let price action come to you. Everything's going to be just fine. Let's take a look at the YM. Oh, for goodness sakes. Shrek fingers, alive and well. All right, here we go. We want to see how these guys are doing. Quarterly, amazing, incredible. Of course, their run-up hasn't been the same as the others. It's had dips, it's had stalls. It's a lot more normal looking than some of the other candles that we're staring down right now. Here are our monthly candlestick formations. Look at this. Good heavens. Since November of 2023, we've had one down month. My word. Okay. You know what I think is amazing is Investors Business Daily just locked onto this power trend. I don't know, I guess it was maybe May. And they said, listen, everything's long. You just find the right opportunity and you buy the dip. And that has been incredible. They have just been rock stars over there. All right, so here we go. Taking a look at the daily chart, a little bit more sideways action, right? It is a buy the dip, but we are under the hull. Again, if you're under the hull, recent highs are likely to be excellent sell zones with a very small risk event. As it comes into the dip, if you're taking that short, if it starts making higher lows and you're doing that and your candle bodies start turning positive, it is time to get out of that trade. If not, it's going to rotate right down with you and you're going to be in good shape. So, for instance, right over here, underneath the hull, recent highs. Now this is the most recent high. It broke it, but it really was almost right on top of this one. And then it rotated back over, kept making lower lows until it stopped. And then you know you've got yourself a rotation. All right, so let's go to our 1 hour chart, see what we've got going on. Whoopsie daisy. I need to lock that figure. Okay, so if we do it again today, I need to remove those also. Yes. If we move to today, we can see that literally our opening candlestick formation inside of yesterday's 4 hour formation, or touching it at least, 4 a.m. formation. So let's see what Europe did when it opened up. 22, 23. There's midnight. We don't want to do midnight for this one today. All right. That's very interesting. Europe could not get back inside of the big range here. It could not break the high of that tick for the opening formation. So what are we trying to do here? We're building a floor. That's what building a floor looks like, right? We come in and we see buyers. Sellers can't push them down. They did one time here, and then up and bouncing. And so this is creating a floor. It's got a negative pressure event. So what price has to do is get above that hull so that the hull is underneath, and then it's going to give us a shot at upside pressure. Otherwise, this is going to be a bounce into resistance. Now, higher lows, stable highs. So we've got price compression. You can see all of that moving around in there. Tough trading, but if you're looking for something, try yesterday's VWAP, closing VWAP. You can see them coming into it. And then they ran all the stops, got back in again, and bumping into the VWAP above. Okay, so let's draw the Fibonacci's. Wow, that's a big value area high. Okay. Yeah. Very sideways, but a very wide range for value area. Very, very wide range for value area. So I think this thing stays in this pocket here. I don't think it gets outside it, unless it falls through the floor. So here's the thing. The bounces are sell zones in a formation that looks like this. So if you buy the floor, you either get stopped out immediately, or you sell into resistance, and then the actual short opens up, okay? But very sideways and messy. All right, let's take a look at SPY. I feel like I've been recording for 2 hours. All right, so SPY looks great, of course, you know, weekly, monthly, quarterly, the whole thing. It looks like everybody else. Looks fabulous. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. New month, deep dips. August and September had some fairly deep dips. And so we need to know that those are possible. And with this longshoreman strike, there could not be a worse thing happening at a worse time. really, if we're trying to get control of inflation, because that's going to stop everything from coming in on the eastern seaboard. Now, we could get it from the west. I mean, all kinds of ways to subvert that, but, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. We'll just have to see what happens. Here we are, looking at the daily. We're above the close, below the high. Dips or buy zones. Let me delete these Fibonacci's. Right, we'll draw the new ones. As I may have mentioned, the value area does change after the opening range because of the movement in price. This low volume pocket, here's accumulation, and they are moving into higher prices. Looks like another accumulation event. However, dips or buys, right? And so we wait for the dip. It's inside of the value area range, 574, 575, top end. But we could come all the way back down here to 570. This is a very messy market. When you've got trend that looks like this, that's not really trend, it's a channel. And that channel could easily break out and easily break down. So right now it is definitively buy the dip. Dip could be a little deeper, so watch for that. And then our 4 a.m. candlestick, it's me with a hiccup. And then look at the 8 to 9 candlestick that's coming into view shortly right here. But that 4 a.m. candlestick says, hey, listen, you know what? As long as I hold this floor, I'm going to be in good shape. If I lose it, I'm going to go into the afternoon, yesterday afternoon and evening's formations overall. Okay, let's take a look at the cues. Cues, what do we have? New quarter, looks great, buy the dip. You can see all the noise being hidden in the candlesticks over price. Sometimes it's pretty important to just zoom out to realize what these big pictures are saying. And they are saying buy the dip. Every single one of them is saying buy the dip. And until it stops saying that, we have to follow along if we're going to make the most of it, right? Monthly candlesticks. It looks a little porous here to me, but still 449 stays like the floor. Okay, from a daily perspective, we've got a little bit of noisy price action, right? Big bounce up, move down, and then up again. So very sideways. We're underneath the hull. So this high up here could easily be resistance. But since the slope of the hull is up, the trade is still buy the dip. If you lose the floor, which is that value area on the day, if you lose the floor there, it's going to give you deeper dips into the shallow volume pockets here into 477. Let's take a look at the hourly. Consistency, we draw the Fibonacci's. High to low, low to high. We take a look at the 4-hour candle, the 4 a.m. candle, please excuse me, I keep saying 4-hour candle, 4 a.m. candle, and then, you know, the 8 to 9 candlestick formation I like, but it continually gets overlapped. So we just look at the 4 a.m. candlestick formation, and, you know, this thing looks like it trades all the way through until that. So the break at 4 a.m. is a good thing. You notice all the congestion with the Fibonacci's. We also have the point of control and the VWAP sitting right there. Dips or buy zones. This is yesterday's 4 a.m. candlestick formation. First time the dip comes in, it's a buy. The problem is we're now under the hull, but the hull is still up, so we have to be patient and see if price action either breaks the top at 490 or fails to hold the floor at 487. All right? Hey, I think that's it for me. I have no idea all the things that I went through right here, but I just want to make sure that all of us are drawing the same things so we can see the same lines. And of course, TrendSpider is actually coding some stuff for me right now, so it's going to be really, really superb for us. All right. hey, take care, and I'll see you on the screens.